Namaskaram to all. So, we will start our session. Chaturmukha Samarambham Vagbhadacharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryandam Vande Guru Paramparam Ragadirogan Satatanushaktan Asheshakaya Prasrutan Asheshan Aulsukya Aradidan Jakhana Yopurva Vaidyaya Namostu Tasmai. So in our last session, we were discussing about how the engagement between the Nidana, Dosha and Dushya. That is in short the Samprapti. How the engagement between Nidana, Dosha and Dushya is becoming so crucial in deciding the outcome of that Vigara. And the strength and completeness of this engagement. The strength and completeness of this engagement that decides the outcome. Whether it is to be manifested as a full-blown Vikara, whether it is to be manifested immediately, whether it is to be manifested late. So all these things are related to this engagement. And why does this happen? That was the question that that is where we concluded our last session. Why does this happen? Because this is based on, actually this concept is not limited to Ayurveda. This is not limited to Ayurveda. This is a natural law, a natural process. What is that? Every karya needs a karana. I was discussing the same idea in some other situations recently. Every karya needs a karana. Even that is how karana is explained or defined. Karya niyata purvavrittitva is karanatva. Niyatam means avyabhijari, there is no excuse. So every karya needs a karana. But every karana need not necessarily end up in the manifestation of a karya. Every karana, there is karana, but there may not be a karya. But there is a karya, definitely there will be a karana. So why? Why certain karanas do not end up in the manifestation of karya? This, a clinician should be always keen about this. For a karana to generate the karya or to cause karya utpatti, there should not be any obstacles in the pathway. Obstacle, we call it as pradibandha or pradibandhagam. So a karana is capable of generating a karya only when there is an absence of pradibandhaga. That is what we call as pradibandhada abhavam. Only when there is an absence of pradibandhaga, a karana is capable of causing the karyulpati. So, pradibandhagabhavam is an important idea as far as a Vaidya is concerned. Coming to our this is universally, you can find this, see, you are trying your level best to win an examination, that is the karanam, and the karyam, what you expect is a pass in the examination. But that karyam is not manifesting. Why? There were some pradibandhaga in between. You are working hard to establish a center. That effort is karanam, but it is not happening. Why? There is some pradibandhagam. So it is applicable in every aspect. But coming to our point, that is in Vaidyam, in Chikitsa, what all things can be the pradibandhagam or pradibandhas? See, there are many instances where this idea is explained. I do not know whether we are aware of it. Whether, see, eyes do not see what mind does not know, isn't it? Eyes do not see what mind does not. So we will be seeing all these explanations throughout the textbook only if we are aware of it. Otherwise, it will be just a passing show. We will not even understand that this is the idea which is explained here. While explaining the influence of Kala in the causation of dosha, chayam, kopam and shamam, we find chiyade laghurukshabhihi oshadhibhihi samiranaha. Chiyate laghurukshabhihi oshadhibhihi samiranaha tadvithaha tadvidhe dehe. Laghurukshabhihi oshadhibhihi, by the oshadhi represents everything that somebody is going to consume as ahara. Because there is an insightful understanding that oshadhis are the food providers for the entire universe. So, laghurukshabhihi oshadhibhihi tadvidhaha samiranaha tadvidhe dehe chiyate. Chiyate, go to the stage of chayam. Why not kopam? Vayu is laghu ruksha, etc., etc. Kalam is laghu ruksha, etc., etc. And the deham is also laghu ruksha, etc. So, there is every possibility for the Vayu to proceed to the highest level of manifestation, which is otherwise technically known as kopam. Laghurukshabhihi oshadhibhihi tadvidhaha samiranaha tadvidhe dehe chiyade. Kalasya aushnyad na kupyati. Kalasya aushnyad na kupyati. Kopam is not happening, or Vayu fails to progress to the stage of Kopa. Vayu fails to progress to the stage of Kopa because Kalasya aushnyad. Kalasya aushnyad. There is one strong factor called Kalasya aushnyam. This is the Rutu is Grishma. Oshadhi is Laghu, Oshadhi is Ruksha, which is ditto similar to Vayu. But Kalasya aushnyam. That is going to be the pradibandhagam in this context. So because of the presence of that pradibandhagam, Vayu fails to progress to the kobhavastha. So, oh, somebody has written one comment that I am not audible. Is it so? Can somebody else comment? Is it my problem or that participant's problem? Please, somebody may comment in the chat box.
So you're audible.
Okay, thank you, thank you. So, when there is a pradibandhagam or pradibandham, Vayu fails. Kalasya ushnyad na kupyadi. Here, even though there are most of the supporting factors for Vayu, Kalam is Ushnam, which is totally against it. So here there is a Pradibandham which is strong enough to stop its progress to the Kobhavastha. But coming to the Varshavastha, immediately Grishmam to Varsham, what is happening? That Ushna, Aushnyam, which was acting as a Pradibandhagam, is withdrawn immediately. It is withdrawn immediately. So, Vayu celebrates that situation by progressing to Kobhavastha. Chaya Pragopa Prasamaha Vayor Grishmadishu Trishu. Grishmam, Varsham, and the Sharad. Coming to the Sharad, all factors are against one. Everything is, that means from that Kobhavastha, immediately a defense system of Pradibandhagas appeared in the Sharad Rudu, resulting in Prashamavastha. Chaya Pragopa Prashamaha Vayor Grishmadishu Trishu. So what happens? Because of that strong presence of Pradibandhaga Bhavas, Vayu is forced to return to its state of Shamavastha, Swasthanasthasya Samata Vikara Asambhavaha Shamaha. So while assessing the details of a roga, the Vaidya should be carefully examining these factors. Because this sort of an inquiry will be throwing light to multiple factors which will be influencing the decision making. Decision making regarding what is the roga, what is the dosha, what is the dosha vikalpa, what is the sadhya sadhyada, what all could be the best intervention. This is what we are supposed to do properly. This is what we are karma tad bhishajam. This is going to be the karma of the bhishak. These are all our day-to-day experiences. We find certain vyadhis increasing in severity in certain desha. Certain other vyadhis increase in certain kala. Sometimes with some ahara, the disease increases. With some vihara, the disease increases. Opposite also happens. Within certain desha, many people will come. While I was in Dubai, everything was fine. I had no issue. The moment I landed in India, I started sneezing. I started getting this sort of Swasarodham. Or in the monsoon, I was pretty comfortable. But now, with the onset of this summer, everything collapsed. These are all common things, but we do not look into those aspects with this sort of an insight. That is why I told that eyes do not see what mind doesn't know. Only if you have a fairly good idea about this mechanism, what is playing, then only you will be looking into these aspects. See, in some conditions, we find the references as well. What is that? Say, for example, take the case of Tamagashwasam. While explaining Tamagashwasam, we find a beautiful note as the concluding. Meghambushida pragvadaihi shleshmalaischa vivardhate. What is happening? Meghambu Shida Pragvadaihi Shleshmalaischa Vivardhade. Then there is an immediate twist. There is another condition which is, so here Shita causes the increase, whereas it happens otherwise. What is that? Shida is Shamyed Jara Murchayutaha Shidaihi Shamyed Pradamagastu Saha Sahatu Pratamagaha. So that Shita is going to be a Pradibandhaga in Pratamaka, whereas that Shita creates an ambience where there is Pradibandhaga Abhavam in Tamaga. Pradibandhagam in one situation and Pradibandhaga Abhavam in the other. So this, this type of behavior gives a very good idea about the way in which the Samprapti or the Nidana, Dosha, Dushya engagement is set, is operating in a particular Vikara. And this is some way or the other gives a fairly good idea about, or this is going to be the plane of application of Upashaya, Anupashaya, Pariksha. Upashaya, Anupashaya, Pariksha. That means even though there is Karana, Karya is not manifesting. Even with a very trivial Karana, Karya is manifesting. So this is going to be a very critical observation as far as one method of Yoga Pariksha itself, that is Upashaya, Anupashaya, Abhyam. And also, this is going to help the Vaidya in framing a proper, customized or personalized Pathyavatya Nirdesham for a Rogi. In many situations, we can find this. Even in conditions like Janavaludbhamsaniyam, we find it. Quit that desha. That is the best remedy. Quit that desha. And actually, to be very precise, Pathya Nirdesham that way is nothing but the clinical application of this concept. Vinavi bheshajaihi vyadhihi pathyadeva nivartade natu pathya vihinasya bheshajanam sadairapi. So, that even if there are hundreds of bheshajam, the disease is not going to recede if there is no pathya. Why? Because pathya is forming the pradibandhagam in the disease manifestation. When there is no pathya anushtanam, there is pradibandhaga bhavam. Vyadhi is going to get a free walk. So a Vaidya should be keeping a watchful eye to look for those agents which work as pradibandhaga for a samprapti and also pradibandhas for arogya. When there is pradibandha for roga, arogya is also similar karya. Arogya is not an accident. Arogya is a karya. So if arogya is a karya, there is a karana for that. And for that karana to operate, there should be absence of pradibandhaga. So the pradibandhaga for roga should be looked for. Pradibandhaga for arogya should be looked for. Then only we will be able to come up with a proper treatment or intervention. I am not using the word treatment. Now, there is an innate capacity for each individual. There is an innate capacity for each individual to set up a series of Vigara Pradibandhaga Bhavas. When we look into the column, okay, that is not innate. It is an external factor. When you look into Desham, that is an external factor. But there is some innate capacity to generate this sort of a Vikara Pradibandhagatvam. And that is why we are all live. Otherwise, no one will thrive in this very toxic world. We will be finished off in no time. But we should understand that this is not a monolithic way of giving some sort of a vikara pradibandhakam. There can be subjective grading. In some people it may be high, some people it may be low. So it is a responsibility of the Vaidya to be fully aware of this factor. At one point in chapter 26th chapter of Sutrasthana, Acharya Charaka makes a beautiful comment. What is that? Tyagad vishamahedunam samanam cha upasevanad vishamaha na anubadhanandi. Vishamaha dhadavaha na anubadhanandi jayande dhadavaha samaha. So you keep this shloka in front of a mirror, you will find the explanation. What is that? Tyagadu vishamahedunam tyagadu samanam cha upasevanad vishamaha nanubadhanandi jayande dhatavaha samaha. Vishamaha na anubadhanandi. By some way or the other, the doshas and the dhadus, dhadu here is dosha. Doshas progressed to some vaishamya. But it will not, those doshas will not continue to sustain that vishamavastha, provided vishamahedunam tyagad. If you are keen in withdrawing the Vishamahedu, withdrawing the Vishamahedu means you are setting up a row of pradibandhakas for the disease manifestation. And samanam cha upasevanadu, you are promoting that pradibandhakas. Then Vishamaha nanubadhanandi, those Vishama doshas will not continue to prevail, will not sustain. And this is a wonderfully beautiful statement. We may not be identifying that this is the concept behind it. We might have read or gone through this shloka n number of times. Again, in another context, another chapter called Vividha Ashita Pidiyam. Vividha Ashita Pidiyam, that is Sutram 28. There is a beautiful discussion happening. Atreya explains the importance of Hita Ahita Ahara Vihara and the importance of following a Hita Ahara. It is there that he makes a statement that Hitaharam is the reason for Arogya and Ahitaharam is the reason for Roga. But then all of a sudden Agnivesha asks a question. What is that question? Sir, you are saying that Hitaharam is the reason for Arogya and Ahitaharam is the reason for Roga. But we find those people who follow Pathyaharam also get sick. Why? Then Atreya comes up with a beautiful explanation, a big passage where all these ideas are discussed. Then the first comment is that, see Agnivesha, if one follows Hitahara, make it a point that he will not be affected by Ahitaharjanya rogas. But do not think that Hitaharopayogam alone is sufficient to keep all the rogas away. It is not so. There are many other factors. And there are many other causes for disease manifestation, like Pratnaparadham, Kalam, what we were discussing about. And at one point, he makes again a very prominent statement. What is that? Nahi sarvani apathyani tulyadoshani. Nahi sarvani apathyani tulyadoshani. Na cha sarve doshaha tulyabalaha. Na cha sarve doshaha tulyabalaha. The next one, the third one is the most important. What is that? Na cha sarvani sharirani vyadhikshamatve samarthani bhavanti. So here we find the word vyadhikshamatvam. He states, Nacha sarvani sharirani vyadhikshamatve samarthani bhavanti. So the word vyadhikshamatvam is attributed with that meaning as one cause that resists the manifestation of diseases. And Chakrabani very beautifully comments onto this point. What is that? Vyadhikshamatvam, vyadhi bala virodhitvam, vyadhi utpadaga pradibandhagatvam idiyavad. Two pieces. Vyadhi bala virodhitvam, vyadhi utpadaga pradibandhagatvam. See that statement? Vyadhi utpadaga pradibandhagatvam. That is what we were discussing all the time. Vyadhi utpadaga pradibandhagatvam. So that every sharira is having such a beautiful principle operating, which is working as Vyadhi Utpadaga Pradibandhagatvam. That is why we are all alive. This is one important point that what Vaidya should always keep in mind. We find this in many contexts again. So two halves, Vyadhi Utpadaga Pradibandhagatvam, Vyadhi Bala Virodhitvam. Even in case of one Vyadhi which is in operation, a Sharira with a good Vyadhikshamatva will win over that Samprapti, will win over the Bala of that Vyadhi. That is Vyadhi Bala Virodhitvam. Vyadhi Utpadaga Pradibandhagatvam reflects that aspect which prevents, which works as a Pradibandhaga for the Karana. So that the Karya is not manifested, the Karya is not generated. While explaining the Sughasadhya Vyadhi, we find a beautiful explanation. All the pieces are spread over the table. What is that? Sarvaushadha kshame dehe yunaha pumsaha jitatmanaha amarmagolpahetvagraruparuponumadravaha atulya dushya deshartu prakritihi padasambadi graheshu anuguneshu egadoshamargaha navaha sukhaha. So that Vyadhi is Sukha, means Sukha Sadhya. And he is listing a big tray of Vikara Vikhada Bhavas. Vikara Vikhada Bhavas. That is Sarvaushadha Kshamatvam, Yauvanam, Purushaha, Pumstvam, Jidatmatvam, Amarmagatvam, Alpahetu, Alpa Agrarupa, Alpa Rupatvam, Anubadravatvam, Atulya Dushyatvam, Atulya Deshatvam, Atulya Kalatvam, Atulya Prakrititvam, and presence of Padasambat and Graha Anukulyam and Egadosha Margatvam. So all these factors are becoming Vikara Pradibandhagatvam. And when it is Prithra Sadhya, there may be a mix. In Yapya, there may be a mix. In Anuvakrama, total absence. All factors are favoring the Vikara Bhava. Here, all the factors are against the Vikara Bhava. So it is Sukha Sadhya. So while assessing, understanding this Sadhya Sadhyada of a Vikara, we are putting this idea into practice. Then in Viruddhahara, we will find, what is that? Vyayama snigdha deeptagni vayastha balashalinam virodhya vina pidayaihi sapnyamalpam cha bhojanam. What is that? Vyayama snigdha deeptagni vayastha balashalinam. So we find certain factors. Vyayamam, snigdhaharam, or snigdha sharirata, deeptagnitvam, vayaha, yavvanam, balam, balashalitvam. So vyayama snigdha deeptagni vayastha balashalinam virodhya vina pidayai. Virodhihi api na pidayai. It is not going to cause any problem. Sapnyam alpam cha bhojanam. Sapnyada is also one factor. Sapnyada is also a vikara vikhada factor. Even though there is no cause, so even though there is cause, disease is not manifesting. Sapnyada is also a vikara vikhada bhavam. So there are many applications which we should be balam hyalam doshaharam. In one Jara Chikitsa we will find, while explaining the Mamsarasa, we find balam hyalam doshaharam param tatcha balapradam. So keep the bala high, because bala alone is going to be the best vikara vikhada bhavam. So while explaining this, we find all sharirika bhavas. At one point we saw jitendriyatva. So even manasa factors are going to be vikara vikhada bhava. That is why we find one statement in the Jara Chikitsa. What is that? Karunardram manasukham sarvajwara vinasanam. So even mind plays, not even mind plays the most crucial role in vikara vikhada. Karunardram manaha suddham sarvajwara vinasanam. It is not a possibility, but it is a categorical statement. Karunardram manaha suddham sarvajwara vinasam. So that shows the role of the mind in vikara vikhadam. Vikara, even though there is all the nidanas present, when this strong vikhada for the manifestation of the karyam is there, what is that? Karunardram suddham manaha. Then sarvajwara vinasanam. That is going to be the most powerful tool against the manifestation of vikara and most supporting factor in the healing process. So that is the important. These are all factors which are going to be crucial in the understanding of a proper Nidana search and their role or their influence in the manifestation. So with this we stop. We will continue our session on Saturday morning. So thank you very much. We conclude. Vishajam sadhu vrittanam bhadram agamashalinam abhyasta karmanam bhadram bhadrabhilashinam.